where it doesn't work.
Just go to the comments.
Liftoff. I can't believe we made it. Episode 100. Ladies and gentlemen.
Andre. Riba.
I can't believe it. I literally can't believe it. I never thought that we'd make it to this moment. I want to thank my family, everybody that's made this possible, my representation. A lot of people helped get this to where it is. Christopher Plant, if you're out there, buddy, you were huge. No, but seriously, guys, this is a monumental occasion, historic,
creative
achievement.
Outfit.
Yes. And let's go ahead and introduce ourselves as we do. I've got Mike Meach here. Meach, how you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling great. Well, aside from every Philadelphia team sucking ass.
We don't have to talk about that. I'm Jesse Rendell. We got Rock over here. What up, Rock?
What up?
How you doing?
I feel good, man.
And then we got two peas in a pod over here at the think tank. Look at these bozos.
Rich Kotite.
Eric Fink and Mark Goodhart.
Thank you.
Meach has renamed Mark Snitch Kotite, which I think is amazing. Mark, have you thought about being Snitch Kotite for Halloween?
I think I already am.
You already are. Beautiful, man.
Yo, guys, this is way. I might have talked about this maybe in like episode 4, but do you remember the Rich Kotite commercial for Visa where he was teaching his son was a basketball player and he was the basketball coach?
No.
And then his son goes, "I want to dance, Dad," and he starts dancing on the basketball court, and he's like, "What?" Rich Kotite was an actor in a Visa commercial about his son playing basketball and then telling his dad, "I want to dance."
I feel like it's appropriate that you came up with some obscure old reference. I feel like that happens about once a show. So for the 100th episode, it's right on.
Google that shit.
It's on point for you to, say something about a commercial in the 90s that no one remembers.
Wait,
Snitch Kotite.
Is this was the episode 1 when just me and you sitting in that studio? And
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure.
Episode 1
Meach
was me
there.
sleeping on a couch and you guys talking about rugby.
I'm pretty sure Meach was there for episode 1.
I think it was just
We
me
were
and you
all there for
episode
we were
one.
there for
No.
episode -4.
No, Meach was there.
Was he?
That's when we talked about Frasier, isn't it?
Yeah. Listen,
Oh, that's when WAF
I was
came
in
about,
every episode except maybe 3. One, I had legal representation of why I missed it, so that was excused. And
Right.
the other 2 were
An epic moment in
pre-planned.
City Pigeons history where Meach went to a Phillies game, went home to take a nap, and slept through the podcast later that night. There have been many epic
happens
moments.
to the best
You
of
should
us.
have been fired.
Many epic
I
moments.
should have been. It would have saved me so much time.
I agree.
Now, can I get this thing set up on Instagram while we get this going? Can someone talk amongst themselves while I'm doing this?
How about them Phillies?
Oh, come on,
Oh.
dude. You could have talked about anything.
You could have done
anything. but
anything
that.
else.
Yo, Rock,
I just wanted to start the shit,
Rock, here's
Oh, there
something
we
I want to ask
Maybe.
you as a Phillies fan who
Yes.
doesn't watch any Phillies games at all
I
and
watched a couple.
knows little to nothing about the team.
Okay.
I mean, we're just being honest with each other.
Yeah.
What do you think about them having 0 minorities on the team?
Well,
Aside from a few pitchers and Rojas, who they've said isn't promised next year's starting center fielder job.
It's kind of fitting for the Phillies. I'm not a big.
They're going back to like Jackie Robinson.
Yeah,
days,
so like that's where I was gonna go. I was actually talking to my man Blake, who's probably, I don't know if he's watching or not. He's on furlough this week. Shout out my man Blake. But we were talking about this last week, how back in the day the Phillies were one of the most racist organizations. Have you ever seen that movie? Was it 42 with Black Panther actor? What's his name? T'Challa, whatever his name. That guy, Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
And they showed the story of Jackie Robinson, and when he came to Philly, man, they gave him the big old racist welcoming, and that's like, I mean, I was never a big baseball fan, but ever since then, I was like, man, this is kind of rough to cheer for this kind of team with this kind of history, but it is what it is.
And
So
Rocky on Baseball was born.
Yeah.
So then, coming to modern day and us not having minorities, I think it's kind of fitting. For the
Coincidence?
team, but
I
it
think
is what
not.
it is. Baseball's not big in the Black community as is, so I mean,
But you have it's huge in the Dominican community, and
Yeah.
where's our Dominican representation?
He's playing for the Yankees right now. He's
You know,
coming.
I
He ain't
brought this
coming.
up
He's coming.
at the
Absolutely
beginning of the
zero
season,
chance.
And Phillies, by the way, were the last team in Major League Baseball to integrate.
That's fine.
I think the Red Sox were.
We're off to a great start with the 100th episode.
100th episode.
As if-
extravaganza.
As if Philly sports aren't in a bad enough place, let us remind you about our racist past.
Listen,
Continue, Mark.
you're the one who gave the reins to us and said, "Can you hold this for a few minutes while I put this on Instagram?"
Terrible idea. Continue,
Terrible.
Mark.
Go ahead, Mark.
Anyway, maybe it was the last team in the National League. All right, big difference. I brought this up at the beginning of the year that the Phillies are too white, and now all of a sudden that they got eliminated. People seem to be latching onto this, but it really is just emblematic of the fact that they have all of the same type of player with all of the same type of approach, and that was their downfall. And so maybe diversity of person creates diversity of approach, diversity of thought, and maybe that'll take
Here's
some
their
talent.
downfall.
Snitch Kotite with a surprisingly egalitarian point of view. Thank you, Snitch.
Here's the Phillies'
Thank you.
downfall: is
Thank you.
everybody knows their weakness, yet they do nothing to fix it. Absolutely zero to fix it.
Yeah, that's
So I don't even blame the bullpen, who was so out of character for this playoffs. But when you have offense who just goes down in order or gets a base hit, they're all looking to hit homers or extra base hits, and it gets old, and they throw out of the zone, off speed, breaking pitches, and they just flail
Remind
at
me,
them.
were we supposed to do this episode last week?
yeah,
And we did not.
yeah.
And why was that?
Because the
Because I
Phillies
would've killed
lost.
myself.
Because I
Because
didn't wanna
no
be
one
there.
wanted to sit here and talk about how
But
shitty
I
the Phillies
also
situation
didn't want
was.
to be reactionary.
We waited a week, and we're doing the damn same exact thing. Okay. Maybe let's save the Phillies thing for the last like 10, 15 minutes when
All right.
people are checking out, because we got a lot more to talk about.
Or
If
maybe
anything, we
we'll
gotta-
just forget about it. And not
we
come
got to
back
talk
to it.
about our man Nicky at some point. You know what I mean? It's a big topic of discussion here in the city this week.
Nick Kotite?
But before we get into that, Snitch Kotite, before we get into that, being that it's the 100th episode, I thought it would be great for us to go through some of our fondest memories and talk about some of the great things that we've loved about doing this podcast 100 times, because there's a lot more to it than what actually happens in the 40 to 65, 70 minutes that we're together actually putting a show on. There's a lot that goes on in the back that there's some comical stuff. And so I asked everybody to spend some genuine time really reflecting. And I'm interested to see what you came up with, because the strong suit of the City's Pigeons podcast is deep reflection, preparation. And I'm excited to see what everybody brought to the table here for this 100th episode. So who has a great, memory or story they want to start us off with?
I'll start.
Rock,
Good.
go ahead, man. You
I mean,
start.
everybody saw it, but I think my favorite moment, and it's got to be a lot of people's favorite moments, was my man Dan, the man from fucking Jersey, at that tailgate last year.
Yes.
It was the Vikings game, right? We had the tailgate.
I'm not sure if he's been seen since, to be honest with you.
He's still laying face.
We had a tailgate outside the link there, and we had a couple people come up to the mic and say a couple things about the Eagles. And Dan, the man from Jersey, came up, all types of belligerent, could barely talk, gave his little prediction or whatever. And then I would say about an hour later, before we all go into the game, somebody's laying on the hill, half dead, maybe dead. I don't know, because nobody's seen him since then.
Yeah.
And who was it? It was Dan the man. So
I love your
If you guys
favorite
wanna-
memories. A man maybe dying during our podcast.
if you guys don't remember that episode or that tailgate, that podcast, you can go back and look at our Instagram and see the clip from when Dan the
Perfect.
man was on there. That's probably last year. at
It's
some point.
beautiful.
It is hilarious.
If Dan's out there, Dan, we love you.
Yeah, we love you, Dan.
Dude.
Thanks for
Love
that.
you,
Thanks
Dan.
for that memorable moment.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much. Yeah, the tailgates in particular have produced a lot of great memories. Meech, was there something that you wanted to
Well,
talk about?
I had
Fond
some-
memory
I
of
had
sorts?
some great memories during these 100 episodes, but one of the ones that was never aired was we went down the shore
Oh, that
a
was
couple
another good one.
summers ago, and we were we were hanging out with Connor, and we were getting a little drunk, and his portion of the podcast was never able to be aired.
It's
Didn't the whole podcast get cut?
Pretty much most of
A
that.
lot.
Yeah, a lot of that.
A lot.
75% of that maybe podcast was cut. But I remember that day and that during the podcast, and I'm thinking to myself, like, maybe we should never air this. I hope this isn't live. And that was just like
At least we're getting rowdy. Huh?
We're happy to embarrass ourselves.
That was
Yeah.
also one of my good memories.
That was an
but I
epic
didn't want to
night.
bring that up because I didn't want to put Connor out there
Ah,
like
it's
that.
all right.
So
I remember that night. I was up till I tried to go to bed as early as I can, but I was up till about 2:33 in the morning, and I had to make it back to my house in Philadelphia in Northeast Philly by 7:30 to clock in for work the next morning, and I fucking did it. It was very impressive
The
by me.
stuff that legends are made.
I remember
Yeah.
that too, Meech. I remember at 9 p.m. You were like, "Guys, we need to go to bed."
And I was
do remember that.
sleeping in one of Jesse's kids' beds that was like way too small for me, and it was just very uncomfortable. That was a very memorable.
I thought you were
night.
going to talk about how you thought Connor was going to come in there and kill you.
I mean,
There was that.
but here the best one was real quick. If you, I've told this before, but the night before we went to LA for the Rams Eagles game last year, I hit a $25 parlay from courtesy of Chili Bets for over $8,000. So it like funded
Shout
my
out Chili
entire
Bets.
trip, and it was one of the greatest nights of my whole life.
That definitely set us off properly with the vibes.
I remember I got to the airport. The plane didn't take off till like 9 o'clock. I was at the airport by like 6 o'clock the next morning. I didn't sleep the night before. It was
Tommy chimes in. This was accurate. Mark's wife wondering where he was at 4:15. He's just asleep on the couch, man. It was all good. We got him. Beautiful. Those
May
were
or may
good
not be
times.
true.
those
Mark.
were a couple just
Now-
off the top of my head.
I want to tell the story. Maybe it's good given that maybe some people joined us on the journey a little further down the road to talk a little bit about the origin. When we started this thing out, Meech and I had been friends when we were teenagers, and I had seen that he was online commenting on Philly sports, and just knowing him, knowing who he was, I was like, this is the guy. If I'm ever going to start a podcast, I got to start a podcast with. So I called him up and like, I want to do this. He's like, what do you want to do? What are you talking about? And I somehow decided rock would be the perfect complement to that. And we got together, started kind of like doing some recordings and screwing around. I remember this was right when Ben Simmons was like the worst thing ever. And everything everything was going to hell in a handbasket. So we got together, started filming this episode, put some stuff together. Next thing you know, we bring Fink into the equation because he was another noteworthy Twitter Philly spokesperson, if you will. Same episode, we had Fink and Tom on as guests. Remember that, Fink?
Hoagie Man and Donut.
That
Yeah,
was
Or
one of my
Donut-
favorite episodes.
Donut Man and the Hoagie
Boy or something.
Hoagie Donut Boy. I can't
And now
remember.
you guys can't
I
get
just
rid of me. I'm
felt like the
herpes.
Northeast representation wasn't strong enough.
Yeah,
You
so
need- whenever you can get more Northeast Philly, you got to do
The
it.
better.
I don't think anyone says that, but okay, totally.
Me and Fink say it.
So we added Fink into the mix. Like Fink and Tommy started coming around, and then Tom actually became kind of like my creative director. We would just be talking every day about doing different things, and cooked up all sorts of stuff with the tailgates and the episodes we were doing all over the place, which were really awesome. But a lot of work gets put into that, you wouldn't believe. Then one of our first episodes, we're down the shore taping in my Radical Squirrels garage, Trevor and Squirrels garage, and Mark is our neighbor across the street. I'm saying, Mark, come check this out. He's like, you should be a sponsor of the City Pigeons podcast. And lo and behold, the Goodhart firm becomes the first supporter of the podcast. So thank you, Mark.
True story.
Shout out Mark.
A momentous
I was like,
occasion.
who the hell is this dude over here? I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And I was
Shout
like,
out Jim.
Yeah.
We were in the Bronco bar, and I was like, this guy's over there. I was like, who's this guy lingering around? I was
Yeah,
like,
and,
"Oh,
and
this-
honestly, anyone
nice
that
man."
has ever met Mark, like if he comes into the equation and you meet him, and then he comes, like he's going to grow on you. He's kind of infectious, good or bad infection.
There was
I'm
no
not sure.
growing on me. It was instantaneous. I was like, this dude's.
It's definitely the good infectious
Yeah.
one.
Good. Mark, what do you
We all
say?
love
So
about
I
you, bro?
grew on you. So what was your first impression, Jesse?
You grew from nothing into something. Anyway, and then Mark was hanging out enough, and he was, you got to have a guy who's like down for anything. You know what I mean? When you're like, hey, we should go, get up at 8 a.m. and get a bunch of beer and go down to the tailgate, and I'm in. He's in for everything. So the perfect wingman. So he kind of worked his way into
Like
the
Robin
equation.
Banks.
And what you say?
Like Robin Banks.
Like, no, we didn't rob any banks, Fink.
Sitting
But
down for him.
well, if I was going to rob a bank, Mark, you'd be down, right?
I'd be down to tell you to take Fink.
Yeah, there you go. He's a lawyer, folks. So we're a couple lawyers here, but he's practicing attorney. Can't be robbing any banks. Anyway, so that's how everybody kind of got into the equation. Tommy, who couldn't be with us tonight, has been along for a lot of the journey, and it's been an amazing experience. And for me personally, I would say like when I went and thought back about this, and there's so much awesome stuff. Early days, we're down in Manayunk at Kismet down there, which was just, those were good times. You know what I mean? Showing up down there and just having a great time. Some really good guests real early on. And then the tailgate episodes, I mean, just crazy, getting down there early and setting up and pulling off. We had an episode with Shane Victorino, you know what I mean? When that was pretty much peak, right? We're playing the Cowboys. Phillies are in the playoffs. Victorino comes to the tailgate. We shoot that episode.
That was one of the episodes I missed, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Meech misses the tailgate episodes.
What the hell were you doing?
Actually,
that
that's
I had to work
some of
that
them.
night.
Oh, okay. That's a good. That's a
Guy's
good
busy.
Busy man with busy.
That was
lots of
amazing.
kids.
Remember
Actually, one thing real quick I wanted to, this right here to me encapsulates the spirit of that entire time period to me. This is really just like, this was one of my favorite things ever. This is a cover.
I remember how mad Devin got when he started.
Yeah, so
drinking.
Can you
this
talk about the love connection that was made on
yeah,
the show.
we're gonna get there. We're gonna
Look
get
at
there.
the baby
but,
blues.
but real quick,
Baby blue.
this was a tailgate episode where, and right now we're showing the cover of episode 62 entitled "Winning Fugly." I don't know why. There's
Wait. Were you calling me?
I
don't know. What the fuck?
Listen,
Wait a second.
Fink never saw this cover until
just
now.
got that.
can we wait? I want to pay tribute to
If
my.
you ain't got no
hold on.
haters, you ain't doing something right. You
Guys,
know what I mean?
nobody ever gives me any credit for my literary genius. Can we listen to this subtitle? It reads, "Birds in perfect season fuels haters. Fink tailgate performance breakdown." Like, no one reads the small print. But this was an episode where Fink, we had Bird Gang that provided us with some of the alcohol, and Fink
Spirit.
decided to pick up a bottle and start chugging it. And then Devin said, "Eric," or something like this. And he immediately,
Right on cue.
yeah, you can see he immediately looked at her with this face, and it summed it all up to me. I mean, and by the way, meeting up with Fink and watching him come in with the hoagies and all flustered in his Zubaz pants. I mean, Fink, what do you have to say? By the way, another legendary performance when you attacked Blooper, is it?
Yeah, he still deserves. I fucking hate that guy.
Yeah. How
I hate
many
the guy in the suit too. Like,
how
I
many
don't like
great
that guy at
memories
all.
do you have at the tailgate event?
So I came up
The
well,
P10.
not the tailgate, not just the tailgate. I came up with 3 times my favorite
Okay.
City Pigeons event.
We're here
So
for it.
Number 3 is the Shane Victorino tailgate when he came up to me and said, "Hey Fink, I really love you. You're great on the pod. You're my
Yep.
favorite person."
Yeah, remember that fact.
Yep. He said it twice.
Yeah. The second one was a couple of weeks ago when we had Chris Long on. Chris Long
Oh, yeah.
again. He said, "Hey Fink, you're my favorite person on the pod. You make me laugh a lot."
Yup.
He said it 3 times.
And my thing is like,
We
hearing them
edit that
people say
out.
that to me, that just makes me feel good that I'm doing something bigger for the cause.
Right.
And then finally, Barkan, because he pulled me aside and said,
Yep.
"Hey Fink, you're great. You're the funniest person
Yep.
I've seen on this pod, and I see you doing big things." And now me and Barkan text all the time. He was texting me a couple of weeks after the episode at
Yeah.
midnight. It got a little weird,
Careful.
but that's my guy.
And
So they're my 3 favorites.
He actually wouldn't stop saying, and I had to say, "God, can you move on?"
the Mahomes intro is
Mahomes.
one of, when we had those intros going for a minute there, that was
I
absolutely
missed that episode. That was like
awesome.
a
That was
fun
a
time,
classic.
man. I think I was out
So,
snowboarding somewhere. Right?
Speaking of that, we are lucky enough to have had a couple of the friends of the podcast, some former guests, send us some well wishes on this wonderful achievement. I'm not sure technologically that I know how to do this, but I'm going to give it a shot here, and we're going to roll
Let's do this.
with our first message here.
Hey, sometimes you need a little comic relief. You know, Meech, Fink, Rock, Jesse, 100 episodes. That is phenomenal. City Pigeons podcast. 100 more, and 100 more after that. You sound great. You look pretty good. But congrats. Hope to see you soon.
Oh, yeah. Can.
Barkane's a classic.
Hell
Listen,
yeah.
Thank you, Barkan.
I just gotta say-
he's mentioned me.
Yeah, he definitely. I mean, he knows. He knows.
I think you said your name first. Though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Did
knows
you notice in the background is a framed picture of Fink? Or did you not?
I didn't
catch
notice that.
Look,
We'll
I
go
just
over
want to
later.
say, for anybody that doesn't know Michael Barkan, I was lucky enough to be. He and Ray Dinger have been coming to my dad's house for lunch like every month. Now they've been bringing Angelo Cataldi. I was lucky enough to be there last week, a couple weeks ago. tremendous
Do
conversation.
they take callers?
You know what?
Caller, you're on the air.
I mean, it's hysterical. I mean, it's the all they're doing is talking about what's going on in sports.
Have
and
you thought about starting a podcast with those guys?
yeah, I mean, that would be good. But
Just drop a mic.
well,
in
I
there
mean,
the
during lunch.
100th and
I
last
was
episode
hoping,
of us.
honestly, I was hoping doing it with you guys because you're so charismatic would be great. But we're 100 in, and I'm just not sure. I might need
I
to.
mean, you drop a mic in that room.
Yeah,
I can't imagine
honestly,
stuff
those are
coming out of there.
conversations that I think are primarily off the record, which is great. It's great to be there. Anyway,
Rock, I don't know about you, but I've grown on him. So, you know.
yeah, you've grown on me. No, but seriously, Michael Barkan is the best guy. He, would do anything. Once you got to know the guy, he'd do anything for you. It's just a wonderful dude. Somehow it's become like a friend, even though he's a little older. He's fantastic. Thank you, Michael, so much.
I'm upset that I missed that episode.
doing that.
You seem like
Now-
the nicest dude.
On a related note, Rock, you did allude to the love story. And anybody who's been paying
Yes.
attention to this podcast knows that there's a love story that's woven in here. It's not with Snitch Kotite. It's not with Snitch. There's the love story. Mark and Fink. No, we know the love story. And listen, if there's one thing that's come from this
Love story
that we can be happy about, and I don't know, I'm not saying we're not taking responsibility for this. Fink did a lot of great, courting on his own with Devin, but there was a interaction related around the pod that did spur, I think, the relationship. And so we're fortunate enough to have the wonderful Devin Caney, who was willing to send us some kind remarks as well. So let's play that now.
Congratulations on 100 episodes to my favorite podcast in Philadelphia. I can't believe it's been, over 2 years since my first appearance on City Pigeons. Never forget, Eric was like the most awkward human, and now look at us. I'm stuck with him. Hey, Eric. Hey. I've always had the best times with you guys, whether it's tailgating Eagles or Phillies games, taking fireball shots, getting chaperoned to Manayunk by Meech with Eric and I in the back seat. That was super weird, but it's always a good time. So cheers to 100 more, and may you guys be celebrating more Philadelphia championships and wins in the future.
The
Nice.
fantastic Devin Caney.
Thank you
was
very
the
much.
most
That was-
awkward car ride ever.
Yeah, can we real quick?
I don't know this story at all.
So I want to look. I think Fink.
I was sitting in the back of a Finks truck on like a cooler or something.
No.
No,
This
no,
is
no,
one
no,
that
no,
you
no, no,
drove
no, no,
in
no,
the
no.
Honda.
Yeah, you got it wrong.
So-
Okay, hold on. Let's stop this for a second. Okay, so early on, Fink this is the whole reply guy thing that we've talked about, right? So Fink got in touch with Devin online, reply guy scenario. They started to have a couple dates, whatever. He invites her to be a guest on the podcast, which was great. At the time she was just coming up. Everybody thought she was awesome. And I think for that episode, you drove the two of them to the episode. Fink, you
So-
take over from here.
Me and Meech would always drive together, carpool, listen to Drake, Meech's favorite artist, on the on the way to the podcast. And this episode, we decided to pick up. We were like, asked Devin to come on. We're like, oh, we'll pick you up. And then me and Meech went and picked her up. We were in his Honda, and I'm awkward. Anyone who's met me is awkward, and it was just awkward. Like we went on a couple dates. I just sat there with my hands folded in the back seat, being weird. Like, hey, how you doing? Yeah.
So wait, this was after you've sent her a million.
We went on
30
two. We went on 2 dates already.
Okay.
And then I got her.
So
on,
she sat in the back
asked-
seat,
I asked
and
her
she
to come
said,
on the podcast.
And Eric
Got it,
didn't
got it.
speak.
Yeah.
What's up with that? I mean, it
He was
worked out.
nervous. He was nervous.
It was
Come
all.
on.
It was all play. It was all play. Look at us now.
Yeah. I mean, we
It
know.
was awkward. I feel, but hey, it happens.
I will say this:
I
how
thought you
is
were
that
talking about
not your
when you were driving the
favorite
Finks
memory
van.
of the show? Is meeting?
He separates the
Devin.
show and his personal life, even though it's
Okay.
intertwined.
All
Right,
right.
Fink? Is that right?
She never
It's
told-
number 4. He just did his
No,
top
no,
3.
No, she's never told me I'm her favorite person on the podcast.
I'm not trying to start any riff,
does,
but
Victorino did.
Okay.
Long did.
Shout out.
Why didn't she do it?
All right.
Rock, yeah?
I'm just curious.
She had another chance tonight.
Yeah, she did say that. Mark.
Wait. She says, what? She says, like it was Meech and I making small talk. LOL. But she says,
Eric's awkward. Like,
look at us now, Eric, and that is all that.
And by the way, that
matters.
was in caps. Just so you know.
I
okay.
think she's yelling.
But honestly, how many for people who are pay attention to Philly sports, and I think you guys got to be one of our favorite. I mean, you're certainly our favorite couple, but I think generally speaking, who can name a better Philly couple? Is there honestly, guys? Can you?
I can't.
I can't.
Mm-mm.
No, amazing.
I got nothing.
Sue Serio and Bill
And-
Vargas. Did
By
you
the way-
want me to actually name one? How's that?
I didn't even know who Sue
How about,
Serio's man
What
was.
was Larry Menti and that
Oh,
crazy chick?
That's
And this is our last episode.
Look, I gotta
Chaka
say this too.
Fatah and what was her name?
Yeah, Renee Chanel Fatah and Shaka
Good one.
Fatah.
There
That's
you
a
go.
good one.
Check that
Used
out.
to live.
Jesse,
right
You
can you
asked the
indulge me for a
question.
second?
by the way.
Yeah, sure, buddy.
Can you indulge me? Because you gave us homework, and I did the homework. So if you can give me, I think this will be like 90.
What are those your spelling
Yeah,
words?
buddy. Just because you have a piece of paper, you're not getting extra credit because you have a piece
Did
of
you
paper.
show your work?
No. But I think this will be like 90 seconds.
What
Do
about Lisa Thomas Laurie and Thomas Laurie?
Okay. What about Ed?
Mark,
and-
no,
I did all
Mark
this
wants to
work.
read his homework.
And so I just want to this was my feelings about the podcast.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I like
Love it.
this.
All right.
This is going to be serious, by the way.
We had crazy tailgates. We had Ernie out there with a satellite dish trying to figure out how to get the game on. We had the cannon guy who swam in the river during the flood
Oh,
of
yeah.
676, right? We got the lot 10 hours early. We had Devin picking the correct score. Very
Truth.
hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
We had a full-blown art show in the parking lot.
Mhm.
We had multiple entities with chicken fryers in the parking lot.
Truth.
We had that dude who showed up, and I'm blanking on your name, but we love you, with 8 kinds of meat sticks, and we had never met you before. We had sponsors.
Sarge.
Kenwood, Two Robbers, Federal Donuts, Fink's
Surge.
Hoagies,
That's
Fans of
Sarge.
Philly, Gnome, JBMP. We had Christmas parties, birthday parties. We had game watch parties. We had a celebrity romance. We still have a celebrity romance. We took this podcast to Five Iron, Murphy's, North Bowl, My Roof Deck Twice, a fish show. We went to the Super Bowl.
Love that fish.
We
show
went to the
episode.
LA Rams game, and we stayed in Santa Monica, and I slept in the same bed as Meech for 3
Yes,
straight
that was
nights.
so
Yeah.
sexy.
No Diddy.
Okay. You know what else we did? We had Philly legends on. We had Shane Victorino, Michael Barkan, Connor Barwin, Chris Long, Pat Gallen, Chill Moody, Rob Kelly, surfing legend, Mike Missinelli, Jimmy Gurecki. We had a 4-time All-Star in Greg Vaughn. We had an NFL Hall of Famer in Ray Diddy. Okay. We had
Because-
Meech create a Shorby t-shirt that got worn by the Phillies during batting practice, during the playoffs in 2023. They should have worn it this year.
Mhm.
Okay. I got introduced personally to Fink's Hoagies, which is the greatest hoagie in Philadelphia. And Philly, for all the great cheesesteaks and roast pork and pizza and all that, we do not have great hoagies, but we do in the Northeast at Fink's Hoagies. The best.
Delicious.
I love them.
We got Bryce Harper to do an Eagles cheer at the Waste
Mhm.
Management on the 16th hole
Facts.
in Phoenix the day
Forgot
before
about
the
that.
Super Bowl. Don't forget that.
Facts.
And most of all,
Oh boy.
You got to meet us.
We
I got to
each
meet
other.
you guys. Seriously, life is about relationships. Life is about friendship. And I got 5 friends. I knew Jesse a bit before this. I didn't know the rest of you. And I got friends for life.
Don't make me cry,
And
Mark.
listen,
I'm about
Don't
to
make me
cry.
And
cry,
listen,
Mark.
you can count on me anytime, any place.
My man.
But you know what? I know I can count on the 5 of you. I love you.
Mark
Put 'em on.
Goodhart.
Love you too.
Salute,
Put 'em
brother.
Beautiful. I got
Let's
tears
go.
in my eyes.
Woo! Don't
Come
make
up.
me cry, Mark.
Except
Damn,
for-
that was
except
perfect.
for he won't
Yo,
rob a
you
bank
see
for
the-
Good
cheers.
stuff,
You
Mark.
see the
boys.
heartfelt
Let's go.
message there, the heartfelt effort that he put into that. That's the kind of heartfelt effort he's going to put into you when you go to see him at the Good Heart firm. If you ever need a lawyer, injury law, right? Any kind of
Hell
law.
yeah.
Yes. Good Heart firm.
Oh,
Mark
yeah,
Goodhart
they
will
were a
be your
sponsor
lawyer.
too. I left
Mark,
them
Mark,
out.
good stuff, dude.
Incredible
Yeah.
transition.
Yeah, you brought up Ray Diddy, and I'm gonna pull the curtain back a little bit here. You guys remember we did that Ray Diddy episode, and afterwards we all discussed, like, that was about middle of the episode. It was us 4 up there, me, us 3, and then Ray Diddy. We're like, yo, who laid that ridiculous fart during the episode?
Funny thing is, I don't remember that at all.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Maybe I was
there was-
so locked in. Maybe
Dude,
I was
there
releasing
was one
myself.
point during an episode, it was like obvious that somebody ripped the fucking disgusting fart, and it wasn't me, it wasn't
Okay.
you, and it wasn't me. So
So that,
Shout
that
out Ray
reminds
Diddy,
me, and shout
So you're
out.
saying it was Christopher Plant.
no, Plan was nowhere near us. Dude.
Listen, that makes me just think about all the people that came on the show very early on that had no idea like what was going on, and they were, just wonderful people that were essentially doing me a favor.
Yeah,
and
those were the greatest people, the ones who came on and were early
Right.
adopters and helped us out. anywhere they
But
go.
it does remind me, and if you're a fan of the show and you came into the equation kind of late and you do follow Philadelphia sports, if you get a chance, go back, go onto our Instagram and go back and find the Ray Didinger intro. Okay, this is
was fantastic.
This is probably from the fall of 2022. This is probably the best work that we ever did. Okay, because we used to bring these guys on and we would cook up these intros that would, be funny. Like, for example, we had Anthony Gargano here. We created this intro where we were eating Primo's hoagies, and Fink came in and got all upset because we were eating Primo's. It's stuff that it was just so much fun. So with Ray, anybody who knows Ray and has paid attention to his career knows he doesn't have a cell phone. He doesn't do any sort of technology. So Meach comes up with this idea. He goes, "Hey, here's the deal. I got this script for Ray and he sends it to me. I go, this is genius." I was like, I have no idea if he's going to do this, but let's just see. So Meach cooks up this script, which basically has Ray utilizing technology heavily and then getting caught on camera
hacking
as if the episode started too early. And he's got a phone. And he's looking at a laptop. He's talking about NFTs and cracking the mainframe. And the best part is he comes in and I'm like, Ray. And the funny thing is, if you know anything about Ray, he writes these screenplays like Tommy and Me. He's got a new one coming up. He's super into like theatrical stuff. So I was like, Ray, would you do that? I mean, he grabbed this script, he put it down, and we just banged this thing out. He had the phone upside down.
The one part that was so underrated about it was him with the phone upside down, and he didn't do that on purpose. He just literally just had it upside.
He was like, "What is this thing?"
I had to try and pitch it to him. Now, I've never met Ray before in my life, and I had to explain this to him and we had like 10 minutes or 15 minutes to air. So I had to explain this to him without him thinking I'm a complete idiot. And then I was like, I want you to read it like Adam West in the old Batman, like just to give him an idea of how I wanted his character to be. And he nailed it, man. First take.
Meech, that was your best work.
Yeah.
I must agree. That was. I was like, damn, that was pretty genius that Meech came.
But I got to tell you, because it's funny.
I was heavily influenced. Listen, you put me aside with a Hall of Famer, and I'll come up with some good.
In
shit.
today's day and age, okay. In today's day and age, people wonder why the hell you do a podcast. Everybody's doing a podcast. It's things like that. I mean, to me, it's not even about how many people pay attention to this or how viral it is or any shit like that.
Yeah, we got to get back to that.
That was the funniest, coolest thing that we've done. And the fact that we were doing that comedic take on Philadelphia sports, to me, was just so awesome. So if you get a chance, you're listening to this, go check out this clip.
Check out the episode.
The Ray Didinger episode is amazing. Great. He's hysterical. It was 2 years ago, but it's still totally awesome. I'm gonna get him to come back on. I'm gonna get all these guys to come back on.
Yeah.
Okay, but wait, real quick. So we don't have a member of the crew with us, but he was kind enough to send in his own message, and I'd like to go ahead and show that right now.
The legend, Tom.
I'm really sorry I couldn't be with you there tonight. I'm still out here in the country taking care of some country pigeon stuff. 100 episodes is pretty incredible. I feel very fortunate to be along for a long part of that ride. When I think of my fondest memories, I think about the global reach, the global community we built. Friends in Australia, New Zealand, London, and we're truly a global entity. And I think that speaks to the power of the Pigeons and the power of the Philly sports fan. Love you all. Catch you soon. Cheers to the next 100.
Tom.
Tommy.
I think he brings up something really important. We always talked about community and building a community, early on, Jesse, and that that's one of the reasons we have the coop. And as I was doing my reflecting, I kept thinking, man, we really did. We like built this community, small and large. Small being us, always coming together, and we joked about maybe this will be the last one, but we ain't done. Why would we stop having fun? I mean, I'm never going to stop having fun. And we really did build a community where people come and hang out and be themselves. And, so I appreciate what Tommy's saying. And we accomplished that goal. Don't ever forget it, Jesse.
Agreed. And we accomplished it amongst ourselves, number one, and then our extended kind of family and friends. We happen to have one of our family and friends here with us tonight. Another guy who's down for anything. Come up here real quick, Charlie. Just step in front. I want to make sure
DJ
that you're recognized here. Here
or
he
is
is.
That Charlie?
Here he is. Come up here. Come in here.
Come up.
There he is. Yeah. So look, the bottom line
In
is
the
that
Gorecki
there you
Temple
go.
coach jacket.
Yeah, turn around. This is for Jimmy. All right, you man, we love you. Originator of the South End Slayers line of merchandise. Another guy who's always down for whatever, so we appreciate him. And
Thank you, DJ.
Yeah, you know, one of my
real quick, we got a friend of his actually that was, you know how the Fanatic, it's like you can't say like who the guy was. It's Fanatic's best friend. Okay, so Charlie is actually DJ Durag's best friend. Okay, so DJ Durag, Charlie's best friend, was kind enough himself to send in some messages for us.
Yo, Dave, what's going on? Congratulations to that City Pigeons podcast. Yo, Meech, Fink, Raj, Tom, Goodheart, and my man Jesse. Congrats, dude, on that cinch. Gotta give a shout out from your main boy, DJ Durag.
There you have it.
That's too funny.
There you
Thank
have
you,
it.
DJ
Thanks, Durag, man. Yeah,
Now,
can you make
I
sure
mean-
Durag says knows that we love him, man? Up
Listen, the problem is
there,
this.
crying.
I've been
Durag.
asking to have DJ Durag be the house DJ of the podcast, and he's too busy.
Like
you know? Meech has 5
like
kids, by the way. He's
in
got
Living
5.
Color,
5.
fucking had DJ S1W. It was Sean Wayans, but
Yeah.
he was S1W.
By the way, we have to show our boy Trev, another guy who's been down for the cause forever.
Mode.
Shout out
Our
Oaf
boy
Mode.
Trev, we love you, buddy. We won't stop, man. Keep having fun. Oaf Mode.
Shout out Oaf.
His cynical commentary has been the lifeblood of the podcast for years, and we couldn't.
Yo, shout out
Do it
all the
without
people
him.
that's been following us, man. There's some great
Yeah.
people, man.
Like,
we got
I-
Rochelle.
We could
got
thank anyone. Like I should thank
Sasha,
my wife for
Sash.
letting me come down here one
Mhm,
time a week
mhm.
while she takes the kids to sports and doesn't complain and agrees with my schedule. But the real MVPs, as Kevin Durant would say, are the listeners.
Hell yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for the 266 people or 56 people who are listening to us now, or the thousands who have collectively listened to us throughout these 100 episodes, we wouldn't bother doing this. It's a pleasure. I don't know why you would want to listen to us. I don't listen to podcasts.
it's funny.
That's good. That's a good endorsement.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to listen to most people, but the fact that
Ever the promoter.
Why do you listen to us?
Okay,
I'm bad at
I
that.
would say this. Hold on, real quick. There's so much shit out there. Obviously, at this point, people
Yeah,
are
for
doing. Anybody's doing these things. So the fact that you choose to listen to us or watch us is great.
That's what I
But like I
meant.
said, I'll say this. I do think we bring a unique angle to the Philadelphia sports conversation.
Mhm.
We're having fun. We are not taking ourselves too seriously. We're busting each other's balls, and I like to think that's different and fun and compelling. And so if you agree with that, we thank you guys for tuning in and, get a friend into the mix. And to Mark's point about building community, that's something we always want to do. So whether it's, you want to come down to the Coop, we had a couple people coming down to the watch party last week, although we seem to lose every game that we watch here. It's no big
We actually
deal.
had like a few dozen, Jesse.
Yeah, a few dozen, new friends that came down. Anybody who ever wants to come down, come on down. We're going to have a tailgate for the Jaguars game. Come down and see us. We're always bringing the beers, bring the food, trying to have fun. So that's what it's all
Isn't the
about.
Coop available if somebody wants to come down here and have an event? as
Absolutely.
Well? You want to
Coop
have
is
a
a
freak off or whatever
fantastic
the hell
place
you want to do down
for
there?
events. We've got lots of
We're
events going
not
on.
running it off for freak offs, Rob.
Okay.
No. Did you say freak off?
Yeah.
Fink
Did
just
he?
woke the fuck up.
Did he?
He's like, freak off.
Bring your own baby oil.
But
though.
I will say this: we now have an arrangement with Love City, which is the brewery right down the street, where they're providing.
They charge us double for 6 packs. That's
right,
great.
They're charging reasonable fees for the next in line comedy shows we have. And if you want to have an event, they can set up the bar for you, and it's
They have
great.
fantastic beers. So
Fantastic beer. So please do reach out at the Coop Philly if you're interested in anything.
Can I say
Go ahead,
something?
Rocky.
man?
Yeah, do
so you know me, I love to play a little hoops, right? You call me Rocky B-ball when it's in season, which is about to start up. But one of my favorite times on the show was when we had the Ballers Ball. We had Kyle Pagan from Crossing Broad out there hooping.
I love
I
how
still
we
have
had-
that keg in my fucking basement
Listen,
store.
There's been 100 episodes,
Yeah,
and
you
so far,
missed all the good
2 of the
ones.
most memorable episodes have been the 2 that I've missed. So that makes me feel really
Can
good.
I
Well,
missed the
listen,
bowler's
hey.
ball too, dude. And you know what? I would have taken Rocky to the hole.
Oh, so we need to
I
run
was
the
in the bathroom on the 5 o'clock in the morning, a bowler's ball throwing up, and I'm going, I can still make this. My wife's like, you are not going to play
Mitch
basketball.
was actually supposed to have a team with his whole family.
right.
But let me say this.
The whole squad.
That was a similar spot to the other one you missed when you went to the Phillies game.
Yeah.
No, it was a little different.
Not yet.
That was good.
Nah,
that was good.
That was good.
But wait, real quick on the ballers ball.
We had people out there.
But this is another one of those things that, like, you know, we should do this, and we come up with this idea, and then it turns out to be like actually really difficult, right? Like, we had a table set up. It was like me and Fink were dressed in like suits commentating this. We've got like a camera crew shooting it. But I will say that was awesome, great content. We do need to run that back.
We need to run that back. But I
just
remember
need to get
one thing I
back
remember
on
from
the
that
horse.
was my man Pat Gowan out there.
He's got
And
some
I
game.
didn't realize he was a hooper like that. I didn't realize he played with Cal Lowry. I mean, he was
You
out
know,
there getting
Pat
buckets.
Pat is smooth across the board. He's one of the only multiple time guests. You
He
know,
also
he's
had that great intro as well.
yes, we had a great intro. Speaking of Pat, he was also nice enough to send us some kind regards. So let's see what Pat had to say.
I want to send a happy 100th birthday to our friend Mildred St. Clair up in Port Richmond. She's an avid CBS News Philadelphia watcher. We thank you. What's that? Not 100. Not 100th birthday? 100 episodes. The City Pigeons did 100 episodes? Okay. Cool.
And there you have it. Thank you.
Yeah,
You
shout
know,
out Pat for that, man.
That was
maybe
good. That was good.
That's pretty fucking
maybe
funny.
when I told him he could be as sarcastic as he wanted to, he took a little bit of extra license.
He went a little
with
overboard there,
one,
but that was pretty funny, man.
Was
Yeah.
filming that vertically part of his sarcasm?
Yeah.
Because it didn't work with it. But
Yeah.
Pat,
It made his hair look bigger.
Pat, I love you, pal. But I've noticed. Did you notice the move Pat has made lately in his social media posts on Twitter for CBS? He's wearing like these glasses that make him look older and more distinguished, and it's a great look for him. But it's just out of nowhere, and he didn't mention it. He went from like a young athlete kind of guy to now he's an older distinguished gentleman. Pull up a picture of him,
Yeah, please.
from his Twitter.
While
and
you're
his
pulling
new
that out, I'm gonna
glasses.
stick up for the man because, like,
I love Pat. It's a
never-
great look, he looks. I was like, man, he looks good, but he's not mentioning that he completely changed his look to
I mean,
Is he going into the Al Meltzer phase?
you don't know if this guy was
I
wearing
see you.
contacts.
it's not like he looks old.
Shout out to Wooly for sure. He's been there from the from the jump.
Yeah,
and he
dude.
did bring the meats last week.
The
You know,
meats.
we-
Yo,
sucky party.
You know, the first thing to go.
I'm
is
not
your
saying the man
eyes.
looks old like me or anything.
Look,
But he looks like he's trying to get a more distinguished look, and I don't mind it. It's cool.
Shout out my man J Mart.
shout out J Mark.
Jay, we I don't know what the hell happened on Sunday, but you just pieced out on the field. And we missed you out there.
Football,
but yeah.
football talk. All right, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
You the man.
Love you.
All right, so
thank you to
I'm just gonna
Pat
go
Gale's
ahead.
a big friend of the
Here's
show.
what we're gonna do.
He's the greatest.
We've reminisced a decent amount, and I do want to get to a little bit of a birds talk, but I'm just gonna right here, real quick, play this last video that we got from a friend of the show here. So give me 1 second.
Go Birds. Congrats on 100 episodes. I love this fucking hoodie. Congrats, guys.
There you go.
That's perfect.
And by the way,
Today's his birthday, by the
hey,
way.
happy birthday
Happy
to Connor.
birthday,
Connor.
Thank you for
Happy
everything
birthday,
you've brought to the table for City Pigeons podcast.
Yo,
Some of the
if anybody
physical
doesn't know who
beatings.
that is, that's Connor Barwin, ex-Eagle, current Eagle. What is he? Director of
Player development.
Player development. And if you didn't know, that hoodie that he was wearing is similar to the one.
Stand
that,
up, Rock. Make sure they. You might as well.
Might as well throw it
Go
out.
ahead.
It is Pigeons 15.
No.
All right.
Close.
Here's the wrong promo code.
It is Pigeons, capitals, all caps, Pigeons, 15% off in the merch store for a limited time only.
Is it
So head over there,
Just
brotherlyswag.com.
until 9 p.m. tonight.
so wait.
No,
The
no,
code
it's
is
not true.
what? Is the
It's
code
just
is,
Pigeons, all caps.
oh, all right.
Cool. I think. Yes.
Pigeons
Right.
15.
Rock was typing in Pigeons 15. He's like, it's not working.
It's like, God damn it.
Nah, he was typing in pen 15.
Damn it. Okay. Beautiful. All right. So look, guys, this has been awesome. Mark, I appreciate what you did there. You really summarized it.
That's fantastic.
And it's been a labor of love. There's been times when I'm
I
like,
wanted to say some nice things to everybody, but Mark pretty much summed
you
it
couldn't
up.
think of any?
I just don't feel like saying nice
couldn't think
things
of
about it.
anything.
I love you.
Can I
guys.
say one thing before we transition to the Birds
Sure.
Talk? Even though I already said a bunch of things.
Say
Sorry.
more nice things, Mark.
What's about you, Jesse? And I'm not just complimenting the boss in order to get a raise here on this
There's
show.
no money being changed.
But in all seriousness, all of this tech with these wires and these screens, and I mean, shit, thinking I don't even know how to turn the TV on in this place. A lot goes into getting us set up for these episodes, both at the Coop and elsewhere. And Jesse, I just want to give you a shout because, we all say we're going to get here at 6:00, but we don't. And you do, and you set it all up. And so blessings, friend.
Thank you, Snitch Coat.
Jesse.
Yeah, Jess, you definitely have
Keep
upped your-
talking.
You've grown on me too a little
Mark's
bit.
really trying to get out of the think tank, man. He's trying to get up to the main stage next week.
Jess is fully dived into this whole
Next
thing.
on the
I've seen him
main
learn a lot.
stage, Mark Goodhart.
He's
It ain't no
Guys, wait, hold on, guys.
nothing
Do you realize
but a
Rock is trying to say more
trying to
nice
say more
things
nice
about
things
me,
about
and
Jess,
you're
dude.
not letting him. So please be quiet.
I've known Jesse for a long time, right? I've known Jesse since I was 13, whatever.
Yeah.
We were kids, right?
I know
We were young.
Jesse C was 2.
I know Jesse since he was
That's enough
2.
out of you.
Anyway, I've seen Jesse throughout the years. We lived in Philly our whole lives, whatever. I have never. I've seen him
I've
dive
dove
into a couple
lot
things,
of shit.
but this is one thing that I've seen him dive head in and like really be committed to. This guy has learned how to be a professional podcaster. He learned how to use these cameras. He learned how to use this internet shit. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. I come here and I talk. He does all this stuff. He spends his time. He has a family. He has all types of obligations he has to deal with. Fully committed. Does a great job. Jesse, well done. Love you, bro.
Listen,
I will say one other thing, actually, in all
Okay.
seriousness.
Keep going.
You are an amazingly creative dude. All these graphics and ideas for names of shows and this and that, and you're
all
always
him.
like,
It's all him.
I don't know what we're gonna do. And then miraculously, every week you come up with some brilliant shit. And there is an amazing creativity inside you. And I'm glad you found an outlet for it and keep finding outlets for it.
Thank you. The truth is, people only pay so much attention, and sometimes it's really bad, but nobody notices. There we go.
And that segment was brought to you by Burt's Bees Chapstick. Great for ass kissing.
Somebody had to bring us back to reality. No, look, appreciate you guys. Looks like I need
Nah,
to
you're
plug
the man,
in my
Jesse. We love
computer. or it's
Is
gonna
Burt's
run out of
Bees a new
power.
sponsor?
Okay, so I'm gonna need you guys to
Talk about the
amongst
birds?
yourselves while I get the.
How about them birds, fellas? What are we thinking?
Yo, guys,
let's go.
guys, what shows are you watching right now?
I'm actually
Slow
watching the
horses.
Menendez John on Netflix.
Are you watching the
Yeah.
Menendez?
We started Slow
She,
Horses on
she
Apple.
fucked the Menendez.
Starting 5 on Netflix.
You guys, anybody watch From on
I heard about this.
on MGM
Nah.
Plus?
Is that the one that's like Lost or whatever?
It's from the same people's Lost,
Yeah,
and I
yeah, yeah.
feel like it's not going to have an actual ending, and they're never going to tie any of the plots together. But in the meantime, I'm kind of enjoying it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know it's not going to fulfill me when it finishes. But for
The ending
now,
of
I
Lost
kinda
was
like
the worst shit
I
ever,
mean
bro.
this in a nice
I never
way.
I never watched Lost.
I mean
ending's
this in the
terrible.
nicest way possible, Meech. I never hear you get excited about TV shows and stuff. And this is like the 4th time I heard him talk about this show.
I
You
gotta
really-
check it out
Really?
based off of
Yeah.
that.
I don't really hear you get.
But you
shit-
guys
like-
got some
like
really
new shows,
weird
No,
takes,
dude,
man.
I watch new shows all the time. All I do now is watch.
But
Okay.
I feel
Did you
like
say
you're excited about
news
this
shows? News?
It's a good thing I'm back.
New shows.
It's a good
or-
thing I'm back because this what shows we're watching content is
one. I was
just
watching-
That's
hot
my
garbage.
I'm starting
So-
a side podcast.
Can I just
and
say
it's
something?
called What shows are you?
Would have been the
watching?
most ironic moment ever for the podcast on the 100th episode to end because my computer died. But it reminds me, there's been some really great. If you
After
go
we were
back and watch
singing
our
your tech
episodes, there's been
skills.
some really good stuff where like the first 4 minutes there was no audio. Like I remember a specific example. We did this great intro with Michael Barkan with Fink going Mahomes, and it didn't actually make its way into the episode because like
the first I'm hearing
Stony
this.
Dan messed it up. We ended up making a clip out.
Oh, Stony Dan.
Yeah, we put it on. Yeah. And by the way, I just want to say this: all of the tech that I have learned has been in order to try to not pay anyone to do anything and do everything ourselves. So,
Sounds about right.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it lean and mean, and so we just do the whole thing. What's up? Oh, you're just giving me credit for that? Thank you.
I would also like to thank Kenwood.
Yes.
No, shout out Kenwood.
Kenwood beer.
We love Kenny.
Do I have to say anything else? I mean,
No.
they're the greatest.
They've been there since
They
the
fucking
jump,
helped
man.
us
Yes.
forever.
The truth is, Kenwood is.
We could not have done it without them.
Kenwood, as I hold my human robot down, but Jake is my boy. I can't front. I love Jake and I love human robot too. There's more than one beer in the world, but Kenwood, I will say, very early on, Kenwood is like a mark, right? Where it's like, hey, we're gonna go do this, and they're like, we're in. We're gonna have a podcast and a tailgate. We're in. And they've just always answered the bell for us, and they've been great. Granted, we think Meach is responsible for a 20 to 30% uptick in Kenwood sales over the past 2 years. We don't have facts behind that, but we think that's the case. But Kenwood's been amazing, and we thank Matt and his
I
whole
control
team.
the stock at Beer Baron in Northeast Philadelphia.
No doubt.
It's all me.
No
Never
doubt.
heard of Kenwood
Keeping it
before.
fresh.
If Kenwood has a
Show,
good
man.
week there, it's because of me.
All right.
I
So,
will say that Tin Hoagie from Human Robot is really
you
tasty.
like that? I'm drinking the
Tin Hoagie.
Dreams of Organon, and it's really good, but it churns you up on the inside. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't think Pat was going to hear me say that shit about him, that he's trying to look kind of old, but he's like, I'll take Distinguish. You just text me. So,
Wow. Just when you think you're safe,
seriously,
you're not safe, pal.
but I wasn't saying
Oh,
anything.
look, here we
bad,
go. He's
obviously.
right here. Look at this. Tapped in just as Meach called me old and distinguished. Hope you enjoyed the video. Love you guys. We love you, Pat. Patrick Gallen. Love it. You man. Okay. Guys, so the Sirianni stuff. I mean, we got to get into it, right? And I just want to start this off by saying somebody on this podcast has been all over this from the start.
You went searching for this clip, man. Just play
I know
it,
you
man.
did.
I've been
I
just
know you
dying
did.
to play this clip, you little bitches. This is from a tailgate 2 years ago. This is when, I guess, was this the year that we went to the Super Bowl? It had to be, right?
Yeah, it had
That's
to be.
2 years
Yeah.
ago.
So this is me bitching the year that we went to the Super Bowl, but I want to point out we did not win the Super Bowl, and now we are where we are. So let's take a look at this real quick.
Jestradamus with the call.
3 times in a row when they had to score.
Okay. Yo, can we get a boo for Jess hating Sirianni over here? Hey, it is kind of funny because I'm talking shit on the coaches 9-1. But look, this is my point. I am
That's
in
the
it.
whole thing. Why are people, not just Eagles fans, talking shit on a coach who's 9-1? He's 9-1
players
for a
love him.
reason.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Okay, players love him. This is two different things. The opposing, who cares if a guy on Twitter doesn't like him? His players love him. But people in other cities don't like him because he gets up on the bench and says, "Just chill, man. You got to hear me out." Here's why I have a problem. Because I'm looking at that behavior and then I'm looking at what happens in the game and I'm saying the two things are connected because he was clearly emotionally involved. And here's my concern. I'm in it for the long haul. You want to be 9-1, 10-1, 11-1, and then lose in the first, second round playoffs? That's cool for you. But guess what? When everything matters and the temperature goes up, I need my man to be settled in and ready to go, and he can't be freaking out. How's your correlation between because he's got to be chilled. He can't be emotionally over-involved in the game. You want a coach that's emotionally involved, bro. Sounds like you're everyone's cool but you, dude.
So it ends with me saying, everyone's cool with this, but you. And here we are. And let me say, I'm having the hardest time. I got to go check that back because I think that was, were we? Okay.
He said it 9-1 at the time.
9-1.
I know, but were
Listen,
we?
man,
Hold
shit
up.
changes. Back then, we were awesome. Like,
I
there
know.
was
Dude,
no
everybody
need to
hated
complain.
Andy Reid when he was on his way out. When you love to have that guy right now.
But again, like the problem is still the problem. All right. It's the same problem we were dealing with then.
Are you trying to say the main thing is the main thing?
Yeah, the main thing is the main thing. The dude, right? As much as his emotion, and let me say this in his defense. Okay. So I'll say one thing. Everybody's all up in arms about what he said to the fans this week, right? And I don't know what he said, but he said something along the lines of,
How you
we won the game. You were talking shit.
You like
saying
that? You like
you're
that?
going to fire me. We won the game, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, here's what you have to understand. I've heard a lot of stuff about people saying the coach is now a distraction. The players have to talk about the coach. You got to understand something. What he did, what he said, is exactly what they all think and feel and want to say. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No.
There's not a player on that team who's like, yeah, keep booing us, man. We suck. We deserve this. No, they're all like, how are you booing us in our own stadium? We're going to win the game. Like, they want to be as defiant as he was, but they know it's not a good idea. Now, he doesn't have the professional composure to not do that, and he did it. My point is this. He's always been a guy who's beloved by the players. And so as much as we as fans are like, what are you doing? You shouldn't be doing this. We're pissed off. His players, I think, are actually looking at this like this is like an us against the world scenario. And against the world can even include our own fans that are booing us. So I actually think he's like galvanizing the locker room around him by doing shit like this, even though we hate it. Right now, here's my issue.
We,
I
meaning
like
the
it.
fans.
Hold on. Here's
I
my
like
issue.
it.
All right, but here's my issue.
Go ahead.
Aside from all that, what are the plays that the coaches have the most impact on? You guys have heard of the first 15, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the first 15 plays of the game. Every coach has a freaking script. They work all week. Everything else they do beyond that, they react to. But this is where you have the opportunity to impose your will. And certainly what the other team does matters. But they haven't scored a touchdown in the first quarter the entire season. That's 5 games. Okay, that's almost a third of the season. Their first 15, their scheme, their initial plan of attack is absolutely terrible, right? And so more than Sirianni going up and talking about how, saying shit to the fans or whatever, that's the issue that I have. The coaching's just bad. So when the coaching is bad, plus these theatrics that are sophomoric at best, I have a problem with that. You know what I mean?
Do you think he's doing these things or whatever? The thing that happened on Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he's purposefully doing this because he thinks the team likes it, the players like it?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Hold on, because he's been doing that since the very beginning. Since that clip was actually, that clip was a result of him coaching against the Colts and going up on the bench after the Colts game and screaming to the crowd and talking about how this was for Frank Reich.
But maybe that's his like approach, his tactic. Like I want the guys to love me. I want them to feel like I got their back. I'll do all this.
No.
But the thing is, you just said that the players seem to enjoy it and the players seem to like it. So who cares what you think? No offense. I'm not trying to be rude. Like, who cares what average
That's actually
Joe
my
Schmo
point.
thinks?
That's actually my point.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like that was the point you were making.
Well, my point is we all are up in arms about it, saying it's a distraction. But
Brandon
in reality,
Graham was yucking it up with him on the sidelines. He was. You see Brandon Graham when Sirianni went after towards the fans, he's cracking up. The players around him are cracking up. So
and that's
I don't know
my point.
why it blew up like this. It's
and
so
that's my point, because the players are all sitting there going, aha, you were booing us. You're saying fire Nick. We're going to win the game.
So you don't have a problem with his antics and side stuff.
No,
but you have a problem with his actual coaching.
No, I have a problem with both. Okay. Because I don't think a coach should be acting that way. It's one thing for a player. Even if a player did that, we'd be like, dude, get a clue. There's no reason in Philadelphia, you don't go after the fans. You just don't do it. It's a losing proposition. It's immature.
He definitely
behavior.
got a stern talking to by Jeff Lurie. You've
Right.
seen his
For
press
sure,
conference.
for sure.
I mean, he totally switched everything up.
Right.
And you know what? When the biggest change you make coming out of the All-Star break is you fucking shave your head like Travis Bickle, there's something wrong with you, man. Like he's lost the team.
No, but he hasn't lost the team.
He hasn't lost the team. Yeah.
That's wrong, actually, dude.
He just might be having a slight, maybe very slight.
Well,
mental breakdown.
you still hear like Jason Kelsey on the broadcast last night saying how everybody loves Nick Sirianni. Well, maybe he's a little too lenient. Maybe that's why they love him, because he's a little. Maybe you need a disciplinarian who they won't like so much.
Let me speak to this comment, because this is your boy, right? From back in the day, Matty Market. Yeah. All right, Matty. So Matty says, "What's the other options, Jess? I hear you, but another new coach for this team." Let me say this. If you want to go, like, if you're Nick Sirianni and you feel maligned by the fans and you feel backed into a corner, guess what you do? You focus on doing a better job coaching the team, running off 5, 6, 7 wins, and then turning around saying, hey, where are you at now? Look, the team's behind me. We're playing good football. But as long as you can't get the team, you're going to do 2 or 3 and outs in the first quarter. You can't be doing the kind of shit he's doing. right?
Yeah.
And I'm not ready to say, look, I realize like mid-season coaching changes, it's not going to work, right? It's not going to work. It's never going to be a good thing. But the real problem we have here is that we were in the Super Bowl and it looked like Nick and Jalen could be a great combo that would work for us in the future. Kind of like it looked when we had Doug and Carson, right? So we're already screwed up from that, although they won it, right? So we're looking at this, and then all of a sudden,
Carson didn't win shit.
well, whatever. It gets worse and worse, and you start to realize, shit, we may not actually have it, and all the dumb shit that Nick does could be part of the problem here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
there's
more
just
than
the-
it's the coaching more than
aside from Nick. Aren't you sick of Jalen Hurts' unemotional? Like he never. When's the last time he actually got excited or like went up to guys and like?
Honestly,
I'm
like,
not sick of that at all. To be
like
honest with you.
fired
That's
somebody
just,
up.
That's just personality, dude. That's just his
But
personality.
that's corny for a quarterback. It's a corny personality.
I don't
So
agree.
you can't have that shit. You can't be so even keeled to where you show no emotion before or after. His post game press conferences are fucking boring as shit. It's all
okay. None of that matters, dude. None of that matters.
It does matter.
No,
it does, man.
No. You know why it doesn't matter? If he makes the plays, no one gives a crap.
Yeah.
It just
But
doesn't
he doesn't
matter.
make the plays. So if you're not making, I saw CBS Sportsline put out their quarterback ranking for the current week. Do you know what where Jalen Hurts ranked in this?
20th,
22nd. It's like fucking Spencer Rattler territory.
Okay.
He's like in Justin Fields is ahead of him, and he's getting benched for Russell Wilson.
honestly, I don't give a shit about what CBS.
Can I
Sports
just-
says.
Well,
Add
here's the
something
thing:
to this.
when you turn the ball over so much, you can't be in the top 10 quarterbacks. You just can't.
Okay, go ahead, Mark.
Sure. What Meach is
Snitch.
talking about might be one of the real issues on the team. This Nick Sirianni stuff, let Nick be Nick. You know what? The players like it. Nick is Nick. We take the good with the bad. I don't care what he said to the fan. The fan didn't even care. The fan was like, I was a drunk idiot. He chirped back at me, all in good fun. Let Nick be Nick. Let him cry at the Super Bowl. Let him yell at the crowd. If it's wins, it's okay. And you know why the team likes it? You know why the players like it? Because we're not talking about Jalen Hurts. We're not talking about the defense. You know why Howie Roseman likes it? Because we're not talking about all the bad moves he made, how he can't build a defense. Okay? So all of this Nick Sirianni stuff this week, it's what we call in the law, it's a red herring. It is insignificant. The real significant stuff, no one's talking about.
Amen. A fucking
Okay.
amen.
Okay,
We're
so
talking about Nick Sirianni, his press conference,
Good
everything.
art firm.
Nothing else.
Hit 'em up.
Nothing else.
but here
We're not talking about how Kellen Moore is a disgrace.
Is it
we
Kellen
bring
Moore,
this guy
though?
in.
But is it
All right,
Kellen Moore?
yeah,
And-
agreed. We don't know.
He
Here's
hasn't
the thing.
done anything to change this offense.
Okay.
Maybe it's not his.
Here's the thing. My point
Maybe
is
he's
this.
tried.
I think he's being
I,
neutered a
listen,
little.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of
He's
the
a
way
spy for the Cowboys.
I'm not a fan of the way that Nick approaches his role as a coach, but I'm very much not a fan of the way that their approach to the game and their plan does not seem to work at all. Now, here's the critical question. Okay. You mentioned Jalen Hurts. And by the way, to me, it's not at all about Jalen Hurts and his disposition and his press conference. It's about whether Jalen Hurts can actually execute the plays they're calling. So you look at the first couple drives in that game, right? And don't quote me on this exactly, but I remember Saquon Barkley runs the ball for 5-6 yards on first down, right?
First play of the game, he
Okay.
ran for 5 yards.
So I'm thinking to myself, well, if you run it again,
you
even
get-
if it's not great, you gain 2 or 3 yards, you're in third and short. I believe they threw a down the field back shoulder
Yes.
route to
He
AJ
threw
Brown,
2 passes.
which
Didn't
for what? So, and this is the question, right? Were they not on the same page?
Doesn't
you know-
matter. You put your quarterback in a bad situation.
Okay, but see, that's that, and see what here's what we don't know. We don't know like what the options on that play
Did
were.
he change the play at the line?
Exactly. Those are the things we don't know. And so there are probably people inside the NovaCare complex that are going to say to us, like, have you heard Howard Eskin? He's talking about how you blame the coach. It's easy. It's lazy, yada, yada. There are probably people, and there have been people for the past couple of years, I think, inside the NovaCare complex that are going to tell you that it doesn't matter the way we scheme it up or we draw it up. We've tried to do it to his strengths. He just does X, Y, Z.
Jalen does Jalen.
Okay. I hear you there.
I mean, I think that's a real
It's
thing.
very hard for us to know.
And how about today? Vic Fangio comes out because Sirianni tried to take credit for some of the defensive
he
calls,
says-
and he goes,
I
he goes,
called every
Sirianni
defensive
didn't
play."
call a
Yeah.
single play. But like, no offense, Vic, Like, you weren't coming out and saying that in all the other games where your defense looked like Swiss cheese. So, like, it's so easy to dump on the head coach. You know what? The guy's out there. He's laying it out on the field. I can't say that everybody else is laying out on the field. There was one play in the first half or second half, I forget which one it was. A guy was running free in the secondary, and CJ Gardner-Johnson literally like ran away from him. He didn't want to tackle the guy.
At
least Nick Sirianni's laying it out there.
No, I saw that same play, and I saw people busting on him. But what he was doing was just containing the guy and pushing him towards the middle of the field where 3 guys were waiting to tackle him. If he would have taken him on and he would have beat him up the sidelines, it was a touchdown. He saved 30 yards. That wasn't a bad play. I mean, I know exactly what play you're talking about.
Yeah.
He was just trying to contain him and push him into the middle of the field where 3 Eagles were waiting to tackle him, which they did. If he would have came up and missed that tackle, it would have been a touchdown.
Okay. It reminded me of the Tampa playoff game last year where defenders were running away from tackling.
I feel like we
people.
haven't had enough Fink
wants to say
on the 100th episode.
Yeah,
Fink. The
This
floor
is
is
going
yours.
Give me
back-
100 reasons why I'm wrong.
This is going back to the Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni thing. So this is a tweet from Zach Berman today. The Eagles had 2 play action plays this week, which is the fewest of any game of Kellen Moore's career. There's only been 15 games in his time as an offensive coordinator with 6. Exactly. There's only been 6 or fewer play action plays. Of those 15, 3 have already been with the Eagles. He said, for what it's worth, his team averages 15 points per game in those 15 games. In the 10 games in his career with 14 or more passes out of the play action, the team averages 28.8 points per game.
So
I feel like Kellen Moore is being neutered here.
Yeah.
And we
For
know
sure.
what it is.
So now
like,
is he being
Meech, you can't talk from
and
the
that could be on the
bathroom.
quarterback as well.
So is Kellen Moore getting neutered by Sirianni, or is he getting neutered at the line by Jalen Hurts? We won't know. But my opinion, there are things that you can do as a head coach, right? Or I'm sorry, as not as a head coach, but as the person who's calling the plays on offense. You can put your players in position to not even like Jalen Hurts never takes a snap under center, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in the shotgun, you can read the defense a little bit better, right? I don't know if anybody here ever played quarterback, but you can read the defense a little bit better. You might see something that you think you see or whatever, but you put him under the center and you call a run play on that second down, right? You say Saquon has got 5 yards on the first play of the game. We want to get at least another 3. I'm going to put him under the center. I'm going to run off tackle to the right, to the wide side of the field.
That's what I'm saying.
He's more inclined to just take the snap and turn around and give it to Saquon. But you put him in the 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, he's going to look at the field. He's going to, I see something open. I'm audible into the out route to
Jalen, no.
So here's another thing that's like, even if he is audible and at the line and making switches up at the line, there's still things that they can do to like avoid that. You put him under the center. You work at like taking a snap from the center, turn around, handing the ball off. I've never seen Jalen Hurts under the center, right? So
rarely, maybe once or twice a week.
Yeah, and
Hurts is mid, Sirianni's mid, and until you change that shit, the Eagles are fucking mid. It's the facts, man. They're never going to get past any with these 2 guys.
If your quarterback is not
Let's go Sixers.
Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, and he's running your team,
Topper's mid. It's all Dombrowski's mid. It's just Embiid's mid,
Booty
Paul
cheeks.
George is mid, Maury's mid.
Go Flyers.
You want to have mediocre fucking teams?
is mid.
No. He's got
not mid.
Keith Jones is not mid.
I'm going to the Flyers game on Tuesday.
Get outta here.
Fuck everybody else. I'm going
Let's
Flyers.
go.
I'm going Saturday.
Everybody else.
Anyway,
You know
Anyway,
what everybody
listen.
else is giving you. I'm sick of it.
Sunday, Eagles Giants. Who's gonna win?
Who cares?
Wow. So anyway, so if your quarterback is not Peyton Manning,
They got to beat the Commanders. They don't have to beat the Giants.
if your quarterback is not Peyton Manning or Tom
Or
Brady, and he's running your team and dictating everything that goes on, that's the head coach's fault. He needs to pull him aside and say, "Look, dude, we got people who are calling these plays, and you need to listen to them. We can't have you adjusting plays at the line every play because clearly it's not working." So back to the coach. If
what's not
he's
mid?
letting that happen, he needs to.
All right.
You know what's
I'm
not mid?
Go, but
The City Pigeons podcast, 100 episodes.
hell yeah.
Mark is the MVP of the 100th episode. Okay, listen. We are an hour and 10 minutes in, a little longer than our scheduled time. So we're going to wrap this up.
Like an hour to
We're
me.
going 100 minutes for the 100th episode.
That's not a
My
bad
eyes
idea.
are going bad like Pat Gallons, bro. I can't even
That's
see
an
that
hour and
anymore.
9 minutes. Okay, listen. I want to do. I like to do the little miscellaneous thoughts part of the program. It's like my own thing, and you guys are just going to bear with me because went to the game the other day, and I missed the first game, so this is the first time I've been down. And a couple things that I took my son Dean down there, just went down. Nothing too crazy. I got in the lot. It's funny, man. I feel bad. The older I get, the more I'm like, oh, I don't want to deal with this shit and that shit. But I got in the lot, and I was like, oh, okay, I feel the vibes a little. But I'm walking in, and I see the guy. First of all, I'm walking by Xfinity Live. What are they doing in Xfinity? Are they giving cocaine away in there? Like, seriously, there was like a 1,000-person line to get into Xfinity Live for a home game.
And you want to talk about mid? Xfinity Live is the definition of fucking mid. Oh my god!
So what you trying to
We
say?
remarked on that walking into the Phillies playoff game that Sunday. I'm like, who is waiting in line to get into
You're
this
trying to
place?
say Philadelphians are enticed by free cocaine or something?
I'm just saying
disgusting.
they're giving
No, it's the people that come from the suburbs to watch to come.
the young people. They're giving something away.
Is
in
that
there.
what the kids are doing?
And
I will say this.
No.
Not to blow up spots. I will say this. My daughter, who may or may not be a junior in high school,
I'll be doing cocaine.
and no, this has nothing to do with cocaine.
We're talking about
And may or may not go to
don't.
the alma mater of our MVP, Jesse, Penn Charter. There was a Penn Charter tailgate for the Eagles game on Sunday. So, like,
How are we not
there is a
invited to
big
that?
lineup of
With
people
what were
coming
they
down.
having?
Just hot dogs, burgers, and apple
How
juice.
are we not invited?
Okay, all I know is
DC
this:
legends over
Xfinity
here.
Live just proves location, baby. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
Anyway, so I see all these people on. I'm like, what is going on here? Then I see the guy who walks by. He's got the sandals on, and it's just like, when you're out at the Eagles game, there's so much sediment flying in every direction, and the guy's got the sandals on. I was like, why would you be wearing sandals with 60,000 people going to the game? So another freaking 10,000 look like they're going to Xfinity Live. You probably got 100,000 people down there.
Wait, does he got the Jesus sandals or he got flip flops?
Flip flops. He's walking in
First
flip-flops.
of all, if you're not at the beach and you're stepping outside the house, other than
Facts,
grab
Rocky.
the trash or grab the mail or whatever, and you're wearing flip flops, cut it the fuck out, man. That shit is not
Knock
cool,
it off.
bro. Knock it.
By the
knock
way,
it off, dude.
I just want to say my favorite segment ever on the City Pigeons podcast was Knock It Off by Meech. And for some reason, he resisted every time I tried to make it a recurring thing. So
Yeah,
if you
I
like,
didn't think the people would like it.
no, it is.
I like the
fantastic.
hip hop baseline quiz.
Yeah,
I know,
if you are
yeah.
I'm going out tonight and you're putting flip flops on, you
Stop
got some
it.
issues, dude. Grab some Crocs at least. Get some
Stop
Crocs.
it.
But don't do that anymore, please.
Oh, we had a whole segment on Crocs at one point too. Remember that?
yeah,
Good
hell yeah.
Crocs are in.
Okay.
The sneaker
Don't-
episode was great too.
You ain't
I gotta
crocking,
say.
Oh,
you
the
ain't
sneaker
rocking.
episode was the shit.
All right.
Listen, I think
Shout
at
out
the,
Brian the Dive too,
hit
man.
1 hour, 12-minute.
I got one
point
thing
is
left.
The perfect place for me to drop this. I had the most Philly experience last Thursday night.
Wow.
I bartend on my off nights when I'm not here or working my regular job.
Can
right?
people come and see you bartender? Or
No,
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's a
Private
catering
events.
gig.
Got
Well,
it, got it.
Last week I bartended. It was prominent Italian American Philadelphians all in the same room. It was a thing for Columbus Day, actually.
He was Jewish, they just found out.
so I'm bartending this event, and I got approached by Gary Barbera, who tipped me to bring a cake up to Pete from Chicky and Pete's during his speech because it was his birthday, to wish him a happy birthday. And I was like, this is pretty much the most Philadelphia. and he tipped me handsomely, by the way. Like,
Shout out.
He tipped
Shout out to
Gary.
Barbera.
Gary
He
Barbera
gave you a Cadillac?
tipped
The
me,
bear.
and I bartend. I had nothing to do with this shit. I was just like, okay, dude,
That's
I'll
Kirkback.
do
My
it.
bad.
And then I told someone else to do it. And
Come
it
join
tipped
us.
And then it tipped another girl, probably more than this cake's worth.
Are you saying Barbera is the best?
Boy,
I guess.
No, Kerbeck, come join us.
But anyway,
Gary will be hitting you up for
I
sponsorship
got
tomorrow.
tipped by Gary Barbera to bring a cake, which I didn't bring up myself. I had someone else do it. Bring
Beautiful.
a cake
You
up
tipped
to
them.
Pete from Chicky and Pete's for his birthday. And I was like, this is the fucking how
That's pretty good.
more Philly can you get than getting tipped by Gary Barbera to bring a birthday cake to
And
very
Pete
good.
took half of Meech's tips.
Oh, wow. He went there. Okay. Last thing I want to say from my experience at the Eagles
I
game,
love you, Fig.
And he worked 15 hours and got paid for 3.
I wasn't done. All right. This is my closing thing. my favorite thing about going to the Eagles game.
Jerry Springer's final thought.
Yeah. Whether I'm on the subway or I'm at the game is the off rhythm Eagles chants. When like one person starts like, hey, and then someone is like, hey, G.
Oh, Jesus.
Mark seems to have broken
Just dropped a
something.
bomb.
Anyway, point is that is funny to me because people can just never be there. Every once in a while, everybody's on the same page.
Wait,
There's always that one guy.
I got a question before we go.
You said
Yep.
Eagles.
Was that your Dean's first regular season game?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
This year.
This year.
This year.
The 1 o'clock games are his forte. You know,
He's
right?
gotten elevated, huh? Yeah. Cool. How's he feel about him?
Honestly, man, I mean, I think like everybody else, he's not that geeked up on the Birds right now, you know? I mean, look.
He's like, Dad, can we go?
Can we just say this? Only really in Philadelphia, I was having this conversation with someone today, whether it's Philadelphia, maybe Boston. Could you have a fan base that was coming into the game that was so fucked up by what happened in another sport that they were already ready to be in a bad mood about something, you know? And so that game just played right into that, you know? And I think with my son, he might be just like, what the hell? What am I? Where I'm going to go do something else.
Well, I think everybody was just like, if they struggle or lose to this
Right, they had
shitty
to blow them
Browns
out.
team, then this team is in bad shape, and that's exactly.
Well,
what
you know,
happened.
your son is sort of growing up how we did. The last championship that happened, he was too young, basically, to remember.
Nah,
it.
he
Sort
was
of like
there. I
the
remember
sort of
Dean
like the
being in
19
that building.
like the 1980
here's an
Phillies.
honest thing to chew on.
And
right? if you were a kid coming up in today's age with the fucking iPad and the fantasy football and the
Video
FanDuel,
games, everything.
would you give that much a fuck about the Philly, or the Eagles, or the
No.
Phillies?
It all depends on who your parents are.
I think the kids are growing up in a great time in Philly sports right now.
I understand that, but can they like we had nothing else
Yeah, we were
because
obsessed
we
with
had
it,
we
and
had
that's why
Fox
we're-
29 or Prism or just local shit. We couldn't even watch another team if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you get League Pass, you get MLB.TV for free through T-Mobile for the year. Like you can watch any game you want, you can watch any sport you want, you can watch any player you want. If you're young, I'm just asking. I don't know. To me, it doesn't seem like my kids give as much a shit about the local teams as I did when I was a kid. But can you blame them? There's just too much shit going on.
It depends on who your parents are. Your parents got to be like Jess's. You know what I mean? You got to be like Jess.
Listen,
you got to be like,
I'm a
you
nut
coming in.
parent.
You coming in the game. You're going to cheer for the Eagles.
Yeah, but I don't want to make my kid a nut. Like I'm fucking crazy, man. Like this isn't healthy.
I mean, not for nothing. Last week it was the game the Phillies lost, game 4. I raced from my office to pick my kid up, to get home, to watch the game, to sit on the couch at 5 p.m. and watch the game. And we get home, and I'm like, come downstairs and watch the game. And he's like fucking with the dog. And I'm like, dude, watch the game. Like, and it was like, not that he's not interested, but he can't even watch the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, yo, Blake, shout out to
me.
good to see you, buddy.
Santa Claus.
Shout out Blake Wexler. I forgot him on my thing. Shout out Chili Bets. Forgot him on my thing.
I didn't. I shouted out Chili.
Okay.
Okay.
Blake, we talked about the racist Phillies comments we had last week.
Yeah,
at work,
Blake, you
so
missed it.
Good
You
to see you,
missed
bro.
it.
I'll talk to you next
Check
week.
back in. All right. Hey, real quick. 100th episode, everybody. It's been a pleasure. We love you guys. Thank you to anybody that's ever checked us out or, you know, enjoyed any of the stuff we've done, and tell a friend. I don't know. We're just going to keep doing this because we're having fun with it. You know, it's been a tough time for us lately with the sports teams, but we'll hang in there. Let's go Sixers.
M-Lot,
Sounds like Paul George
Jacksonville,
is gonna be okay.
M-Lot.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
I told you, I hyperextended my knee back in '98. I was cool in like
Jacksonville
6
game.
weeks.
M-Lot. Tailgate's going down.
Let's go.
More particulars to be announced soon. But
Smack it up. Flip
Let's
it.
go, baby.
Rub it down.
LA period.
looking
Wait,
forward.
Why'd you bust out the nips over
Looking forward to 101.
I imagine we were going to do them all.
there? Yo, shout out Rochelle
Here,
for
we gotta
bringing the
send
nips.
us off.
Yo, that was another great episode. The holiday party, man. Jamie Lynch was down there representing.
Let's go.
Yo, Mark,
Okay,
what's yours?
so we're gonna send us off in style. We're gonna finally drink the Fireball nips.
Yo, I had on my list too.
Did you ever
Rochelle.
6-7 pieces of Plenty Pack Big Red gum in your mouth at once? That's what this is.
We
Yes.
did
Right.
fireball shots with Devin's mom in the parking lot.
These are
'cause of this
courtesy
podcast.
of City Pigeons fan Rochelle
To
from the
100, gentlemen.
holiday
To
Christmas
100,
party.
To 100
City
more.
Pigeons
A
and
little
our
bit of
city.
mouthwash.
I
baby.
love you.
Let's go.
I love you.
See you for 101, baby.
Go Birds. Go Birds.
Go Birds.